Dr. Conroy, Steven, Paulina, Shakur, Denise. I want to thank Julie. I want to thank Jessica, Ish, most importantly, my brother. I want to thank Harrison, my brother. I want to thank everybody that had a part in making this a success.
The boxing world has been buzzing with speculation and shock ever since Terence Crawford made the stunning announcement that he would be stepping away from the sport.
You know, it's been a journey, you know? It's been a journey. I remember, like it was yesterday, I wanted to quit boxing. You know, it was getting to the point where I didn't enjoy it no more. I didn't love it no more. And Bomac, you know, he always, hey, don't worry about it, man. Just keep going. It's gonna all pay off one day. And I'm like, man, fuck boxing.
After maintaining a perfect record of 42 wins without a single loss throughout his 17-year professional career, the 38-year-old champion declared that he had accomplished everything he set out to achieve and saw no reason to continue fighting. His decision came just 3 months after his remarkable triumph over Canelo Alvarez in September, a victory that cemented his place in history as the only boxer in the modern four-belt era to capture undisputed championships across 3 different weight classes. The announcement sent ripples through the entire boxing community, with fighters, promoters, and analysts all weighing in with their perspectives on what this means for the sport and Crawford's legacy.
I'm not saying that his announcement was not genuine, but something is going to pop up, like a Jake Paul fight. My understanding is he wanted to take that Jake Paul fight. Timing wasn't ideal. He had just fought all this, but like, there's going to be an opportunity for him to fight, and I think he does fight again. Does anyone disagree?
No, absolutely. He will 100% be back if the offer is made and it's a compelling offer.
However, not everyone was caught off guard by this development. Shawn Porter, who faced Crawford back in their memorable clash at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas during the fall of 2021, revealed that the retirement talk had been brewing for far longer than most people realized. Porter shared with media outlets that Crawford had actually been contemplating this decision for an extended period, with conversations about potentially hanging up his gloves beginning even before their bout nearly 4 years ago. According to Porter, once Crawford managed to secure his fight with Canelo Alvarez and emerged victorious, he genuinely felt there were no more mountains left to climb in the boxing world. What makes Porter's insight particularly interesting is that he mentioned this was the first time he had publicly discussed these private conversations with Crawford. The former champion explained that retirement from boxing is never a spontaneous or emotionally driven choice for serious fighters.
I don't believe it's secretive, but I certainly believe in respecting someone's space. Do what you want to do, however you want to do it. And so I've never, you know, again, like this is my first time saying I've never told anyone that, you know, this is something that he's been thinking about doing for a long time, wanting to do for a long time. But he knew that he had a little bit more to do. You know, obviously me retiring in 2021, I knew when I was done. But yeah, this is me always wanting to give him his space and be respectful to him. Funny thing, we were on the line on Monday, and then this comes out on Tuesday. Like, man, I was just talking to you. Like, you could have said something, you know. So, but regardless, man, I love the way that came out, and I think it couldn't have been any better.
Following his retirement announcement, Crawford took the step of vacating all his championship belts, which immediately set off a scramble among sanctioning bodies to determine new title holders. The World Boxing Organization quickly moved to instruct Hamza Shiraz to face Diego Pacheco for the vacant middleweight title. This opportunity represents a significant moment for the 26-year-old Shiraz, who now finds himself with 2 potential championship paths after previously receiving orders from the World Boxing Council to challenge Christian and Billy for their vacant super middleweight belt. Interestingly, the WBC had already stripped Crawford of their belt even before his retirement became official, citing his failure to pay required sanctioning fees. This administrative action added another layer to the Crawford story, though it ultimately became a footnote once he decided to walk away from the sport entirely. The promoters representing both Shiraz and Pacheco now have 20 days to negotiate terms for their potential matchup, and if they cannot reach an agreement during this window, the situation will move to—
No one can tell when a person is really serious about retiring, because we never really retire. You know, you may be retired and done with this, still going to the gym, hitting the bag, still running, still sparring people, things like that. And you may get that feeling and feel like, you know, I want to do it. And then there's always somebody out there that's going to make that phone call to you.
You never know.
If he gets that phone call from Jake, I'm sure he's coming back, right?
One of the more skeptical voices regarding Crawford's retirement came from Eddie Hearn, the Matchroom boxing promotional powerhouse who has seen countless twists and turns in the business side of boxing. Hearn made it clear that he was not taking Crawford's announcement at face value, suggesting there might be underlying factors at play that the public has not yet discovered. During an interview with Fight Hub TV, Hearn questioned whether this retirement might actually be part of a larger negotiating strategy or perhaps a way for Crawford to gain leverage in some behind-the-scenes business dealings. The 46-year-old promoter acknowledged the physical realities facing any fighter approaching 40 years of age. Crawford will turn 39 next year, and Hearn pointed out that training camps become increasingly difficult as fighters age, with injuries taking longer to heal and recovery periods extending.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you never know the background to these things, you know. Is it part of a wider negotiation? That's just me knowing the game. Are there lingering injuries, which might be more likely, you know, where every camp, what's he, 38 years old, 39? Like every camp gets very, very hard. For the boxing world and even for fight fans, it's not frustrating because it's his decision, but he's now reached that superstar status. You kind of want him to keep going, and it wasn't like his performance against Canelo showed signs of aging or anything like that, but he's also made a lot of money. What a time to bow out on top. You know, a lot of fighters have one too many. So maybe he feels like the way my body is, maybe I'll get beat and I don't need to get beat. I've got everything I've got. Or maybe he had a contract to fight someone else, but if he retires, he's not in that contract anymore, or it will give him greater leverage to negotiate a deal. That's just me being devious, which is part of my job.
Crawford's retirement immediately impacted the pound-for-pound rankings that boxing fans and analysts constantly debate. With Crawford removing himself from consideration, many observers shifted Naoya Inoue into the top position. The Japanese sensation has achieved undisputed status in 2 weight divisions himself and represents one of the most dominant active fighters in the sport. When asked about Crawford's retirement during his own interview with Fight Hub TV, Inoue took a pragmatic approach, noting that retirement eventually comes for every fighter, and therefore the news did not particularly surprise or shock him.
Crawford has retired. What do you make of that? And do you feel like you're the best pound-for-pound boxer on the planet now? What do you make of Crawford retiring?
まあ必ずしも誰しもが来る時なので、まあ何も別に思わないですよ。
I think it's like a thing that would like cross any fighter. It's something as a stage that would come to any fighter. So I'm not thinking anything about it.
Tim Bradley provided perhaps the most credible assessment of Crawford's abilities, having actually experienced them firsthand when they shared the ring. Bradley described Crawford as the most skillful and talented opponent he ever faced, placing him in the same elite category as Manny Pacquiao. He characterized Crawford as a legendary figure whose technical brilliance was evident long before he received widespread recognition as an all-time great. This testimony from someone who directly faced Crawford's capabilities carries special weight when evaluating his place in boxing history.
Crawford is the most talented fighter that I've ever been in the ring with, right along with Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao was a savage. He was definitely savage, but Crawford, skill for skill, I ain't never been in the ring with nobody more skillful than Crawford. This is history. This is a GOAT before he became the GOAT. And you gotta see how he was before he got to where he is now.
Roy Jones Jr., himself a legendary figure in boxing, weighed in by calling Crawford's retirement decision both beautiful and intelligent. Jones emphasized that Crawford has absolutely nothing remaining to prove, having already demonstrated his greatness beyond any reasonable doubt. This endorsement from another all-time great reinforces the consensus that Crawford has earned the right to make this decision on his own terms, without criticism or second-guessing.
Would you believe that Crawford's really retired?
I do.
Well, what do you think about his issue with the WBC sanctioning?
I don't want to talk about it. It ain't got nothing to do with me. It wasn't me.
I don't know enough about it to talk about it, so I know that I do have respect for WBC, WBA, IBF, and WBO. So I always respect him. I always did what I had to do. And without those guys, we would have never known who the champions were. So I can't say nothing against them. He may have his own personal vendetta with him. I don't know enough about it to say whether he was right or wrong. So, it's what it is.
Roy, who's the best fighter in boxing right now?
Right now, if he retires, if Terence retires, it's got to be Usyk.
Who?
Usyk.
Usyk is the best.
Without a question. If Terence retires, it's got to be Usyk now.
Not everyone believes this retirement will last forever. Rolly Romero voiced a strong feeling that Crawford will eventually return to boxing, despite his current announcement. Point to specific reasons or potential opponents that might lure Crawford back, he remained convinced that fans have not seen the last of Crawford in a boxing ring. This perspective frames the retirement as potentially temporary rather than permanent.
Terence Crawford, brother, just retired. Just what are your thoughts on that? He retired obviously on top. Biggest win of his career against Canelo.
I got a feeling he'll be back.
You got what?
I got a feeling he'll be back. Just got a feeling.
Who would he come back against? Why would a Terence Crawford come back at this point?
I don't know. Just got a feeling. When you got a feeling, you just got a feeling, You ever just have a feeling?
Sometimes. Yeah.
You ever just have a feeling?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. You're a fighter. You maybe, have a different look than I do.
Stephen A. Smith offered his assessment, characterizing Crawford as a special pound-for-pound champion, departing at the absolute peak of his abilities following a spectacular career. Smith acknowledged that while Crawford's brilliance remains unquestionable, his retirement will inevitably spawn endless hypothetical discussions about how he would have performed against all-time greats, such as Floyd Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard. Nevertheless, Smith argued that Crawford deserves celebration for his contributions and for consistently delivering outstanding performances.
He's taken on all comers, and he's taken all of them out. He is spectacular. He's the best pound for pound. He's been a tribute and a testament to the sport of boxing, and he should be not just applauded, not just celebrated, but revered because he's that special. My props to him if indeed this is it and we'll never see him fighting again. Thank you for all you've done for boxing, Terence Crawford, because he never cheated us.
Max Kellerman delivered what might be considered the ultimate tribute to Crawford's dominance. Kellerman asserted that Crawford belongs to an extraordinarily rare category of fighters whose superiority was so complete that fans will forever debate whether anyone could have actually beaten him. He highlighted that across 40 professional fights spanning 5 different weight classes, Crawford's dominance was so absolute that genuine uncertainty about outcomes never existed as his fights entered their final rounds. This level of consistent superiority places Crawford in truly elite company.
There are some guys who people who lived through their eras will say, you ain't beating that guy. Yeah. And Terence Crawford's one of those guys. He's one of those guys. The people who watched him through this era will swear up and down no one could have ever beaten him. And they have a good case. Like, he was, no one really competed with him. He had over 40 professional fights through 5 weight classes. Yeah. And you were never watching a Crawford fight, and here it is in the 11th round, and you're going, I wonder if he's gonna win this fight.
Yeah. Ryan Garcia offered an intriguing take, suggesting that Crawford might be employing a calculated strategy similar to what Floyd Mayweather successfully executed during his career. Garcia theorized that the retirement announcement might not represent a permanent departure, but rather a strategic pause. He acknowledged Crawford's intelligence and greatness, while expressing confidence that fans would eventually see him return to action.
What did you think about Crawford retiring?
I don't think he's really retiring though.
Maybe he's having up a Jake Paul fight.
No, he's doing the Mayweather thing. Retiring or coming back.
He'll be back.
He'll be back.
Amir Khan shared his thoughts with The Ring magazine. Khan referred to Crawford as a boxing legend who will always be remembered among the greatest fighters ever. Khan revealed that he had actually encountered Crawford just 2 days before the retirement announcement at a boxing event in Dubai, organized by the IBA, and Crawford had mentioned nothing about retiring. Khan had even inquired about Crawford's next fight because he wanted to attend as both a friend and someone who loves watching quality boxing. Khan reminisced about training alongside Crawford extensively and how Crawford had traveled to the mountains to train with him, creating memories that would remain with Khan forever.
You know, Terence is such a legend in the sport of boxing, and I was always going to be remembered as one of the greats. I saw him 2 days ago in Dubai. at the boxing event, at the IBA event, and never mentioned one little thing. I mean, I was asking him who's gonna fight next because I want to be there. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I'm a friend and I love boxing and I love seeing good boxing, and obviously been training alongside him for a long time, and him taking the time out to come all the way to the mountains to train with me. You know what I mean? That's something that's always gonna stay with me. A guy like him, who when he was pound for pound in my last fight, he flew over all the way to Omaha, and from Omaha up in the hills. Where were the hills again?
Colorado Springs.
Colorado Springs. Yeah. And he came just to train with me and to help me and support me. You know what I mean? That's what you call a champion, that respects other people as well, other champions. And that's one thing about Terence Crawford. He's always respected all the champions, all his peers, all his partners, all his gym mates. And he's going to be missed. Great legend of a guy. Not only what he did, what he's like in the ring. People know how good he is in the ring, but what he's like outside the ring is more humbling. There's a big difference between him and Mayweather. There's a big difference between him and the other fighters I've been around. Terence is a lovely guy who is very respectful and is a family man.
Anthony Joshua also shared his stunning perspective on the retirement, making it clear that he believes the undefeated champion is walking away far too soon from a sport where he still has incredible potential to showcase. Joshua, himself a former two-time heavyweight champion, shared his views during an appearance on the Mr. Verzak podcast with Rick Reno. The interview took place shortly before Joshua's scheduled bout with Jake Paul, giving him an opportunity to weigh in on the topic. The British fighter expressed his belief that Crawford possesses an enormous amount left to contribute to boxing, though he acknowledged that the decision to continue or retire involves more than just physical capability.
Terence Crawford has got so much more to give. What we learn about people is that it's not just physical, it's what's going on in his mind. I think he's having some issues with the belts. He's been in the game for a long time. And maybe he's just like, you know, forget it, I'm done mentally, even though physically I'm good. But I would love to see him continue fighting. I think he's got a lot left. And I think now's his time. Now is the moment. Now is the moment to showcase your skills. But we have to live and let.
The retirement of Terence Crawford marks the end of an era for boxing fans who have watched him dominate across multiple weight classes with seemingly effortless skill and precision. Whether this announcement proves permanent or merely represents a temporary break remains to be seen. But there is no question that Crawford has already secured his place among the sport's all-time greats with his perfect record and historic achievements.